to bring entertainment and laughter. Through their bumbling clumsiness and mimetic performances, they aim to please in a way that is both deft and awkward. Their contradiction is their attraction. They represent the unpredictable. Yet for some reason, people have a natural tendency to fear clowns and make them into something evil, whether through pop culture with the Joker in Batman or Pennywise in Stephen King's It, or through real-life scares like the wave of creepy clowns that prowled the South in 2016. For whatever reason, our society has developed a fear of clowns.
There's even a word for this fear, coulrophobia, or a specific fear of clowns. It is not officially a diagnosed mental disorder, but it affects many people who suffered a traumatic experience with clowns in childhood.
And it doesn't help that the world keeps producing such grotesque versions of the once amiable figures. One person who embodied the persona of the evil clown in the most gruesome of ways was John Wayne Gacy, a man who raped and murdered 33 teenage boys over a 6-year span in the 1970s. He buried the bodies in the crawl space of his house in Chicago, Illinois.
Because of the number of victims, he was named the worst serial killer in the United States at the time of his arrest. And though the amount of bodies found buried underneath his house showed the mind of a sick and twisted serial killer, his neighbors saw a very different, very sociable man.
Gacy was a man of the community. He ran a contracting business, was heavily involved in politics, and threw parties for the neighborhood. At these parties, he would dress up as Pogo the Clown to entertain the children, and that is why he became known as the Killer Clown, thought to be the inspiration behind Pennywise the Clown in Stephen King's It. Gacy became a notorious symbol for a friendly neighbor with a deep, dark secret. Hi, I'm Greg Polson, and this is Serial Killers. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the life of John Wayne Gacy and his terrible Chicago killings. I'm here with my co-host, Vanessa Richardson. Now, Vanessa's not a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist, but she's done a lot of research for the show.
Hi, everyone. We'd like to ask a quick favor. Would you leave a 5-star review of Serial Killers on your favorite podcast directory? It seems so simple, but it really helps us out.
And don't forget to subscribe while you're there, because a new episode comes out every Monday. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Parcast, and on Twitter at Parcast Network. John Wayne Gacy, named after his mother's favorite movie star, was born on March 17, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, to a blue-collar family. His father, a World War I veteran, worked in a factory as a machinist, and his mother stayed home to care for Gacy and his 2 sisters. Gacy's father was a troubled man who immediately went to the basement to drink after work. Each night, Gacy, his sister, and his mother waited, terrified for Gacy Sr. to emerge, unsure of what to expect. While John Sr. abused all his children and their mother, he focused his abuse on John Jr., a boy who could never quite fit in. Gacy Jr. had a heart condition that plagued him his whole life and referred to himself as a sickly kid. When John was 11, he was hit by a swing. A blood clot formed in his brain, and he started suffering from blackouts that went undiagnosed for 5 years. John could never play with the other boys, though he desperately wanted to, and his father often thought he was faking his ailment to avoid doing physical activity.
This type of alienation really stuck with John throughout his life. He never really felt like he was a part of the world around him, despite his desperate attempts to do things normally and to fit into society. But most of all, he yearned for acceptance from his father.
Seeing in John a lack of masculinity, John Sr. often berated John in